Hi lads, like I said to you yesterday in training, I'm going to tell you today what tactics we're going to be using for Sunday's cup final. A couple of reasons. The day, you're probably going to have some excitement, a bit of nerves. I don't really want to give you a lot of detail to try and soak in before we go out there. So I thought if I do it on a video, you can play it back a few times just so you're fully aware and understand what things and responsibilities you need to be doing on the day. Secondly, it's probably a good insight for your parents as well. They don't get to see what coaches tell players and yourself on match days. So this gives them an idea of what we're looking for from you. So on the pitch on the day, they can see whether you're able to deliver what we asked for. The side we're playing are very good. They are league champions. I went out to scout them last Wednesday to get as much information as I possibly could to help us for Sunday's game. They won the league. They won 3-0 against Parington. They've beaten us twice. Themselves, Risdon and Parington are very good sides. So this is going to be a tough test, and the last two cup finals, well, the cup quarter final and the cup semi-final that you played last round, the tactics that you've been given are much less detailed than today, but we've delivered them both times and we've got the results that we deserved, even against better opposition. So as you well know, anything can happen on the day. Alright? It'll run for about 10 minutes probably, and like I say, as many times as you need to watch it, understand it. Any questions, give me a call or speak to you on Sunday, yeah? Well, I'm going to turn the iPad so I can show you the tactics board. You won't see me, but I'll be speaking. Right, as I said to you at training on Tuesday night, they play with 3 at the back. They play a back 3. They have a sweeper, 2 centre backs, but they're pretty flat like that. They've got a number 15 who played on the left. He's a good player, a big player. He's quick. And then they've got numbers 3 and 14 who are playing the other 2 positions. They have a holding player, which is the number 8, who's their captain. He's a good player, sort of dictated it. And I would expect those 4 players to play the whole game along with the keeper. So that lot should probably play the whole match. What they do, the keeper from goal kicks, he'll hit the halfway line, or from drop kicks, he'll hit the halfway line. That's how far he'll travel. They pack themselves with another 5 in midfield, so they've got left side, 2 centre midfielders and a right midfielder. So they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 midfielders, almost a 6th in here who doesn't go up top that far, and then they'll have a number 9 who sits right on the last man. So they really try to compact and pack that area of the pitch. When they have corners, they'll send in 3 or 4 of their big guys, but these centre backs will tend to stay back. They don't tend to go in for corners, so they're quite conservative and defensive at corner situations. But the big guys will go in there. The main reason that they're league champions is these three boys. They are a solid back 3, very, very good. It becomes a game of relentless pressure. So whatever the teams try to do to get through these 3, they just say it's not going to happen. They win possession of the ball, and they get it back in and recycled into the centre or the wide areas, and then they'll just attack you. So what tends to happen is teams just tire, and they just stop sides from being able to get anything in the sort of last third of the pitch. They tend to hold all that area back, which is why they've been so successful. Conceded 11 goals all season, which is very impressive. They'll then pack the midfield, and then eventually score goals, and then teams get tired, and more goals sort of fly in. The one thing you need to know about them is the number 16, who I played. He played sort of in this role, or maybe this role. He floated about a bit. He's an idiot basically. He loves himself. He'll just try and role players, be a bit stupid. So I'll just ask you to ignore his aggression, forget about him, he's meaningless. So that's one player that you need to be aware of and need to ignore. The last thing is their coach. Their coach is a shouter. He screams and shouts like a lunatic. It's all about me. That's the type of person he is. It's why they've won the league. They brought players in who are stronger than the level that we're at, so that he can have a bit of plastic at the end of the season. He must have some serious insecurity issues. So expect a lot of screaming and shouting, but that won't be coming from me. Alright? So that's what they're going to do. That's what they've got and what's almost likely going to happen on the day. Okay? So you're aware that this is the shape we're going to be up against. Now, what they do is they get very dysfunctional and dislocated. That was how they'll line up at kick-off, but as soon as the game starts, these midfielders will be all over the place. They could be anywhere. So what happens is, sometimes, and quite often, the gap between the back three to any midfielders can be quite high. So it's important to know that they don't have a tactical structure, which is not unusual for this league. It's happened to us a lot this season. Happened to us in the 2 cup games before. But so you're aware and used to that. But just be aware that can create opportunity for us, which we'll go into in a minute, because this is what we're going to do. Now the system we've got here is the 4-4-2, which we always play. Okay. Now if we play that system against them, we're going to be going against relentless pressure, and eventually they're going to score because we're going to tire. Okay. So I've got to think about how we can counter that system they have, 3-5-2 or 3-6-1 against a 4-4-2. And think that how are we going to get an advantage tactically going forward. So what we're going to do is the system's going to change. So the 4-4-2 we have is going to go into a 4-3-3. So that central area will get more compact. 3 in midfield, and then we're going to have 3 strikers or forward players, as it were. Okay. Now, the reason we're going to do this is so that these boys are occupied all the time. The 3 forward players will sit on those 3. Okay, so when it becomes dislocated or disjointed, or they wave an attack and Joe receives the ball, it means we can get ourselves up high up the pitch as quick as possible in order to try and get ourselves a 3v3, which is going to give us an opportunity to get down the pitch, for us to push up the pitch, and we may be able to nick goals, or it could go out for a corner or a throw in, so we're up the pitch and in the attacking area. Okay. This also could cause a problem for their coach. I doubt any team's done this to him this season. He's probably going to look at that and think that's quite dangerous, because when it's a 2v3, almost 4, it can be quite simple to defend. Alright, so that's how it's going to start. So in terms of how we manage that defensively, the first thing is for Joe. What I'm going to do is I'll remove the players and I'm going to put the names of the starting 11. So Joe is at the keeper position. We've got Will Tregus, who's going to be the right back, Keelan centre, Dom centre, and George is left. The 3 centre midfielders, there are no wide players, so we'll have Timo in here. We'll have Sam Ballum in here, and we'll have Tom Brown in here as the 3. And then starting up top, we're going to have Cams in here. We'll have Charlie Coulson in there. We'll have Charlie O on the other side. Okay, so that's the 4-3-3 against their system. So the first thing for Joe is to be nice and high up the pitch. Okay. It works superbly against Parington. You have to maintain your concentration, Joe, all game. I must be high. When I'm in the last third, I'm here. When I'm in the middle third, I'm here. And when I'm in the final third, I'm in and around the defensive area of the pitch. Okay? I can't have you falling asleep, being in there when we're in here, and one ball over the top they score, because we haven't woken up to what the through balls. Through balls will happen. The guy up top is quick. Okay? So the starting position needs to be high. In relation to their system, they pack the area and they play central anyway. The only time really the ball goes wide is if it actually goes wide. It doesn't really. It's not something that they tend to try and deal with. So it doesn't mean that we're going to have these players running up and down the wing like lunatics trying to cross the ball. That didn't happen in the last game. But I don't want these 3 central midfielders coming out to try and look after 6 players. Not possible. So what will happen is that midfield will effectively cut off. So I want to have those 3 players in this central channel, which is basically the 18-yard width going forward to the halfway line. Okay? So they don't go out there. Will and George, as the players travel, okay, when they get in the last 40% of the pitch, which is this line across here, about there, then you go and engage the striker, the winger. So go and engage him, and then I want you to push him into a wide area. Neither of them had any skills to get past the last man, so I would like us to start trying to play them on the outside. And it's the same with you, George. As he travels, then you go and you'll go and engage as soon as he hits that line. Okay? Just on players that are coming on, Connor, you will be a fullback on both sides at some point, most likely. Cameron, you're going to be a centre-back at some point, maybe for Keelan. We'll see how things go. This isn't definitive, it depends on how the game goes. Dylan, you will be either a midfielder or a forward player, so understand the tactical things that I'm saying in here. Naishan, you will be a forward, and Daniel, you will be one of the midfield 3. So this is an area that you need to be focused on how you work. In training on Tuesday, these 3 stayed around 8 to 10 yards apart maximum, sometimes as close as 5. So they will shuffle over if the ball's in that area. If the ball's there, they'll shuffle over the other side. So that's how we will stay centrally compact. So they have to attack width, and they haven't got, for me, enough to go through the middle of us. Alright? So those boys are going to be engaging the wide players. Okay, the centre forward, Keelan Newmark. Okay, he's quick, but so are you. I'm not even worried about him. Just so look after him. Make sure he doesn't have a particularly good day. Doesn't get in behind you. Doesn't cause you problems. You're key today, Dominic. On a Sunday, you'll be key because if you don't communicate and talk, shout and pull people around, we're going to be in all sorts of trouble. Line comes up quickly, as it always does. If those 3 are not in a structured position and they've become dislocated because they're following the ball around, make sure you pull them back in to get them nice and compact as a 3. Okay? So organisation of back 4 and your midfield 3, Dom, you need to be doing that. And obviously sweeping any areas across that 4 that's needed, like you've been doing all season. So, the 3, Timo, Sam, Tom, as I said, in training, excellent. The positions you had were good. Don't get sucked into the wide areas, yeah? So don't come out here helping Will or helping George or Connor if the ball comes into this area of the pitch, yeah? If, for instance, the player's travelling the ball and he goes to overlap as a midfielder and he's on a 2v1, then that's the time that you will retreat and try and support the wide player. But nothing I saw made me think that they would even do an overlap. But that's the only time that you need to be going in there. Other than that, you're centrally compact. We don't want them shooting and scoring in that zone of the pitch. So this area here is fully protected. We've got a 2, a 3 and a compact 2 on the outside to cause them problems. Right, Tom Cameron, Cans. This lad is physical. He's a big lad, yeah? He's quick. He's a good defender, okay? So you'll have a lot of fun with this guy. Just make sure you cause him a load of problems. Don't let him have any fun at all in the game. Make sure that you try to get the ball held up rather than trying to beat the man, but you can get yourself in behind if you need to. But you two, Chaz and Chaz, you need to be looking to try and get yourself in behind these 2. Or if you're 1v1, taking them on, or little combination plays to try and get yourself in, okay? We need to get up the pitch. So you 3 are fundamental to that. If you can't do the job we're asking you to do, then you're causing stress to these areas, which at some point may fracture unless you can get us high at the pitch all the time to make sure we try and create, at least have a competitive game where they get respite as a back four, and so do the midfield. You three have got licence to try and create and score goals. That's what we're wanting you to do. Alright? Right, corners. The corner situation is, as we did in training, very straightforward. Cams, you will come back to defend corners, and your starting position will be a little bit, if it's on there, your starting position is a little bit deeper here, almost sort of, I don't know, 75% of the goal backwards to give you opportunity to come forward for the header, and then it's the opposite on the other side. If it's there, I want you in that position to be able to come and attack the ball forwards. Okay? Cams does not mark. Cams will be attacking the ball if it comes within that vicinity of the danger zone. The rest of you will man mark. We've done it in training. It's touch tight. It's holding on to the player, making sure that he doesn't get a header on goal, and the bravery and commitment to the team will decide whether or not we can see goals, sloppy goals from silly corners because we're too scared to try and head the ball and get hurt. So that's a very, very straightforward thing. Other than that, that is pretty much it. Alright, so what I would ask you to do is study, understand what's been asked, understand your own roles for the game on Sunday. Okay? The key thing to know before Sunday is that you're already winners. You shouldn't be in this cup final in the sense of it's beyond expectations. I didn't expect it. I'm sure you didn't. Coaches didn't. It's a new team. It's a new concept that we've done this season. So for me, you've won. Yeah, these guys are here because they like to win plastic trophies and put themselves in silly leagues to make themselves feel better. Right? But if you know you're going to turn up and be a winner, then you haven't got anything to lose. The big difference is, if you go and beat these champions, you will be champions. And that's a big, big thing. And I'm telling you, you've got capability of winning the game. Because I've seen them play. They're nothing special. This group is stronger. Yeah, they're not the same group as you. They're strong in some areas, but they're very weak in others. So if you put your heart and soul into it, which I know you're capable of, and you all turn up, all of you, not one or two who's scared, all of you, we will lift that cup. Alright? I'll see you Sunday.